it's Danielle, and today I am going to do a fireside chat, a Thursday talk. So if you guys are interested in chatting and talking, then stick around and watch the video. For those of you who are new here, my name is Danielle and I am the non-traditional mommy. Once a week, I like to sit down by the fire, grab a drink, and chat it up about different topics of choice. So if you're interested in chatting and talking about different topics, then grab your drink, hit the subscribe button, and join the family. For those of you who have already been along for the journey and a part of the talks and given thumbs up, then I love you. You're the MVP, and thank you so much. Alrighty guys, go grab your drinks if you haven't done so. I'll wait. Look at my little mug. So we did a team bonding and we went to Pitter Potter where you paint your own pottery, and I am not an artist, obviously, hence subject matter A. But yeah, I just tried to write like different words of like things that I want to speak into my life on my mug, and you know, but yeah, anyway, this is my happy mug filled with tea for the night. All right guys, so today I want to talk about unexpressed expectations. I wrote about this topic on my blog, so feel free to hop over there and read up on it. And I think I did a marriage challenge on this as well. I can't remember. If I haven't, I'm going to. But just talking about unexpressed expectations. So what are unexpressed expectations? They are basically expectations that we have in our minds for our kids, our significant other, our mother, our friends, our family, our jobs, our bosses, our employees, whatever. We have these expectations in our minds, but we have not told the other person that we have this expectation. It's an unexpressed expectation. We have it, we think it, but we haven't shared it with the other person. The person has no idea that you have that expectation of them, or that you expect this particular thing to happen. So that is an unexpressed expectation. And I personally feel like my Danielleism is that unexpressed expectations are cancerous for relationships. So they are little cells that grow in relationships, and they grow and grow and grow and get bigger, and basically can kill a relationship. So I want to talk about that. I want to talk about unexpressed expectations and just expectations in general. So let's start with expectations and where they come from. I think that it is so important for us to really figure out why we have certain expectations, to do soul searching and really sit down and ask ourselves, why is this an expectation of mine? Where did this come from? Where was it formed? How was it formed? How does it benefit my life? How does it benefit my relationship? How is it a good expectation? So an example of that would be, you know, if you are a person that expects, you know, your children to, let's say yes ma'am, no ma'am, or yes sir, no sir, I would challenge you to sit down and figure out, why is that an expectation of mine? Where did that come from? How is that beneficial? How will that improve the quality of our relationship, the quality of my life, the quality of my children's life? You know, why is this an important expectation? And by doing that, when we are expressing these expectations to the other person, we're able to give them some background and some why to why we feel like this expectation is important and so meaningful to us, which then may help the other person want to fulfill that expectation. Does that make sense, y'all? I hope I kind of explained my thoughts around that correctly. What ends up happening, what I used to run into a lot when I was doing marriage and family therapy with couples and in families, is that people would have expectations on another person and never express that. A lot of times in relationships, I would have parents say, well, they should know that they need to, you know, do their chore. They should know that they need to clean their room. That is obvious. That is something that they should know is expected of them. Or, you know, in a marriage, well, they should know that I want them to hug me or say I love you. Like, they should know that that is expected. And it's like, why should they know that? Like, that's not something that's like a constant across the world where you just know that that is expected of you. And if you've never told this person that this is what you expect, then how would they know that? You kind of have this expectation, it's not happening, and it's brewing, and you're getting angrier, versus expressing to this person, hey, these are my expectations. I don't know, what do you guys think? Is this making sense? Am I explaining this right? I am a firm believer that when you start dating someone and you know it's getting serious, that you should sit down with that person and express your full expectations. For example, for myself, I knew I wanted a big family, and you know, that was something that I expressed to my husband at the time, boyfriend, very early on. You know, I expressed those expectations. I also knew that once I started having children, that I did not want to work. I never wanted to work and be raising my kids. I wanted to stay home. That was a full expectation of mine, that my husband would work and I would stay home. And I expressed that expectation to him very early on. It wasn't a situation where we got married, we started having kids, and then I came to him and was like, so when am I going to be able to quit my job? Or I want to quit my job. And he's like, I didn't know that that was what you were expecting. You know, those type of things. So with my kids, I'm very clear on what I am expecting and why I expect this from them. And I start that very young, very early on. Even, you know, to little 11, I will speak my expectations to him at this young age, so that it's always a constant and it's always known that, oh, this is what is expected of me, and this is why this is expected of me. This is why this is important. This is how this will bring quality to my life. This is how this will bring quality to this relationship. What ends up happening when you're not expressing your expectations is you're thinking these things over and over and over in your head. Every time it doesn't happen, you're upset, you're mad, you're angry. But then you don't say that because you're like, well, they didn't do it. And then this person continues to act the same way. A good example of that would be, okay, so I have two examples. I'm going to give kind of like a metaphorical example. So as you know, we have German Shepherds, and every time I stand up, or anybody in my house stands up to go, you could get off the couch to go blow your nose, they hop up and they run to the door. Every single time they're like running to the door. No matter where you're going, what you're doing, every time you stand on your 2 feet, they hop up and they run to the door. They have an expectation that when you get up, you are supposed to take them outside. Like, that is their expectation, and they can't express it because obviously they don't talk, but they have this expectation. And so as a person who doesn't know that, you stand up, they're like running, and you're like, go lay down, why are you up, sit down? And they're like, because you're supposed to take me out. But they're not saying that, you don't know that. There's this disappointment in them, there's this sadness, there's this frustration in you, because you're like, why the hell y'all keep getting up and running around the house? What do y'all want? And they're like, take us out. You're supposed to take us out, which is why we get up and we run to the door. And it's this vicious cycle. That's one example. So another example would be that you expect when your significant other comes home from work that you guys should hug and greet each other. Like, that is your expectation. And every time they come home, they just walk right past you. They go straight in their room, take a shower, or put on their pajamas, or decompose, or whatever. And you're frustrated and you're angry, and they're like, what is the problem? Why are you mad? And you're just like, you know, I'm just mad, I'm just whatever. And you're not saying anything. And every single day there's this same kind of pattern where you're expecting some type of embrace. They're not doing it, but you're not saying to them that that's what you're expecting. And you know, they come in, they don't embrace you, they go to the bathroom, they leave the toilet seat up, you go in, you're yelling about the toilet seat, and they're like, why are you so mad about the toilet seat being left up? But really you're angry that they didn't hug you because you were expecting that hug, you were expecting that embrace, and it didn't happen. And they don't know that you were expecting that. They don't know that that's what you were thinking. And it's just a vicious circle, a vicious cycle of unexpressed expectation not being met, followed by complaining about something else, followed by unexpressed expectation not being met, and so forth and so on. And so yeah, that's what ends up happening. And those little things become like these little cancerous cells that are growing, and before you know it, they're out of control and have killed the relationship. So expressing those things are crucial. Expressing those things also doesn't leave room for the person to say, well, I didn't know that that was expected of me, because you expressed it, and you expressed it early on. So another great thing with expressing your expectations. So what are some of you guys' expectations? Like, what are some things that you have that you expect from another person, and why do you feel like that is an important expectation? Even as a child, in a child-parent relationship, you'll have parents that expect their kids to call and check up on them, and it's like, well, I expect you to check on me because I'm your mother and you should do that. And it's like, I'm grown and I have my own life and my own kids. And so no, like, you could call me, the phone works two ways, and you have this unexpressed expectation from this parent that this child had no idea was on them. And now the parent is feeling a certain way and feeling unloved and feeling like the child doesn't care. And meanwhile, the child has no idea that they're causing these emotions in the parent. So again, expressing these expectations are so healthy and so important and so vital for relationships to thrive. I feel like I'm rambling and like I'm not making my points. I do better when I'm writing this stuff. I don't know. So anyway, what do you guys think about that? What do you think? With your expectations, have you expressed them? Like, have you made it clear that this is an expectation of yours? And have you explained to the person why this is an expectation and why it's a quality, it'll bring quality to your life, their life, and the relationship? What are you guys' thoughts in general on expectations? Do you feel like they're too much? Do you feel like they ruin things for us? Sometimes I feel like going into a situation with high expectations sets the bar up here, and when those expectations aren't met, you feel deceived, or you feel sad, or you feel like failure and all these just sad emotions. Versus when you go into a relationship or a situation and you just have kind of zero expectations, you're not really expecting anything, or your expectations are kind of average, then that leaves room for you to be impressed, or for the situation to be better than what you were expecting. What are your thoughts on that? High expectations versus low expectations versus no expectations. Do you feel like expectations are important, or do you feel like we should approach things with low expectations or with no expectations? Let me know what you guys think about that. I kind of operate from the standpoint that we should have some form of expectations around certain things in life that encompass our values and our morals and our organic selves. So the expectations that we have about relationships or how people should treat us or what we expect in certain circumstances should speak to our character. So our character, our values, our morals, our organic selves. And then everything else we should approach with either no expectation or low expectation, because it's kind of like, well, this doesn't affect my organic self or my moral compass, so the expectation around it is kind of, you know, if it's great, it's great. If it's not, it's not. And I'll be okay. It's not going to affect who I am and my quality of self. Does that make sense, y'all? I always ask that question because I like to know what you guys think, and if this is, you know, if this feedback two-way conversation seems to be making sense. It's harder when you are just doing all the talking and you don't have anybody kind of like, oh wait, can you explain that some more? Stop, what do you mean by that? So anyways, alrighty guys, so that is our little fireside chat today, talking about expectations. What do you guys think? Join the conversation, join the topic, leave your comments below. If there's any topic you want to chat about, feel free to leave that below and we'll chat it up, we'll talk about it, all that fun stuff. If you guys have not joined the family, I would love to have you as part of the non-traditional family. So hit that subscribe button. If you like chatting and talking, give this video a thumbs up. And for all my MVPs out there, love you, and I will see you guys next time.